Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear, that's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles, and with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields.
And we're here to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get one that we know of, so you better make the most of it.
Darn tootin'. Let's move on.
Well, Uncle Dan?
Oh, yes. Here we are
with another show, if you can believe it or not.
I do believe it. I'm sitting here doing it.
We indeed.
You are still far away from me, off in foreign lands.
I'm in Studio de Nord,
which is fine because I'm going to bring in Uncle Doug to sit with me, and then I'll have a friend, and you'll be all alone.
I am very much alone here and high above Vancouver.
Yes, indeed. We got some good stuff coming up here. Mark, I believe you are going to teach us all about the Greek origin of our favorite fish sauce.
That's right. We're going to go to a very old and very weird hell that will have a lot of familiar elements. And then Uncle Doug's going to come along and teach us all the wonderful consistencies in the many biblical stories of Easter. And then Dan's going to teach us about a god that comes out of your keister.
It's a rip-roaring event here at the How-To Heretic, and I can't wait. So let's just do it.
Let's do it.
Well, Uncle Mark.
Yes, sir.
We've got Uncle Doug here. So, hi, Uncle Doug.
Hello.
And we're all here. We're going, and you, Uncle Mark, have gone to hell.
I'm going to take us straight to hell.
I'm currently in a play, a Shakespeare play.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this about me. I'm an actor. I'm very famous.
Theater actor.
The fact you pronounce it actor and not actor does not convince me.
No, I'm an unconvincing actor. That's part of the problem. And one of the lines from this play, from 12th Night that I'm in, someone says, "Will you follow me?" And the other character says, "To the gates of Tartar."
Really?
And my understanding, Uncle Mark, is that you've got some tartar for us.
The dentist has some bad news for all of us in that there's nothing we can do about this tartar. This is Tartarus. This is the underhell of ancient Greece. Now, I say underhell because we all know that the ancient Greek hell is Hades.
Oh, yeah.
And so is the Lord of the Underworld. I don't know what the fuck was up with their naming system. It's dumb.
Places are people.
Yeah, person, place, and thing.
Somebody should really do something about that.
Let's figure this out and send it to the Greeks.
Yeah, send it to Plato.
Yeah.
Hades is the Greek hell where just kind of the norms go, right? Just your workaday, betogged potters and fighter of wars.
You're various and sundry bad folk.
Yeah, and you don't even have to be like seriously bad to go to Hades. You just have to be a little bit of a fuck up. And so it's bad enough. But beneath Hades is Tartarus. And we've talked about Tartarus a little bit before. And you just brought it up as referenced in Shakespeare. And it's interesting because it has maintained in certain bits of our culture.
Oh.
So Tartarus was developed as originally a place where it was a dungeon of torment, and it was a prison for the Titans.
Right.
Yeah, so that it was beneath Hades. It was far worse. And according to Plato, souls are judged after their death, and where the wicked received the most serious punishments. So, interestingly enough, Tartarus is also a god of the ye olde Greek, even the older Greeks than the gods of Olympus, right?
Oh.
So he was a primal entity that some consider to be one of the first three ever in the Greek cosmos. Along with Earth, Night, and Time, Tartarus was considered a primordial force. In Hesiod's Theogony, that I know we're all super familiar with,
right?
Tartarus was the third of the primordial deities, following Chaos and Eros, and was the father by Gaia of the monster Typhon. So Tartarus is a noun, a verb.
Who fought Godzilla.
Yes, exactly.
I prefer Mecha Typhon.
Mecha Typhon was really, really cool. So Tartarus is a noun, a verb, a person, place, a thing, a god, and it's not confusing at all. So as for the plays, Hesiod asserts that, and we've talked about this before when we talked about Uranus, that
My what?
a bronze anvil falling from heaven would fall nine days before it reached Earth.
Right.
That same anvil would take another 9 days to fall from Earth to Tartarus. So if you put the heaven to Tartarus route in Google Maps, it's 18 days by anvil. Long drive, but the route is super straight. So
Mark,
yeah.
how many cubits is that?
See, now we're crossing the streams. So anyway, if you take that trip, you're going to want to, take a cooler. So
Yeah. Bring snacks.
according to Greek mythology, the realm of Hades is the place of the dead. Tartarus, as I said, is way worse. When Kronos came to power as the king of the Titans, he imprisoned the one-eyed Cyclops and the Hekatonchires in Tartarus. And yes, I did say that right. Zeus released these imprisoned giants to aid in his conflict with the Titans, including his own father, Kronos. And the gods of Olympus eventually triumphed over the old gods. What are the Hekatonchires? I'm glad you asked. The Hekatonchires, or the 100-handed ones, also called the Centimanes in Latin, or 100-handers, were figures in an archaic stage of Greek mythology. 3 giants of incredible strength and ferocity that surpassed all the Titans, whom they helped overthrow.
As you do. Like what else are you going to do with them?
With those 100 hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about them like a bundle of hands and fingernails or like finger tumors or something, but they had 50 hands and 100 hands and 50 heads each.
Oh, wow.
Because more is more in Greek mythology.
I always picture it as like kind of a koosh ball that just rolls along on its hands.
It's funny, they're a little hard to find any imagery of. You'd think that they'd be on, pottery or something like that, but there's not really good imagery of them because they're probably just too insane to be able to render properly.
It's too stupid a concept to actually like make manifest in any kind of visual format. People would look at it and go, "That's that's what we were talking about? That's too stupid.
It's too fucking stupid to believe in. I'm out.
I'm done."
So according again to Hesiod, the 3 Hekatonchires became the guards of the gates of Tartarus. The 100-handed ones are giants of great storms and hurricanes. So Kronos and the other Titans were banished to Tartarus, though Prometheus and most of the female Titans were spared. Now, Prometheus, we can talk about another time. He was spared for a while. But later he met a terrible fate. So another Titan, Atlas, was sentenced to hold the sky on his shoulders to prevent it from resuming its embrace of the earth. A lot of people think that Atlas is holding the earth. He's actually not. He's holding the sky.
He's holding the sky away from the earth.
That's right, to keep it from falling down on the earth. So,
to keep it from embracing it. We are all missing out on a sky hug because this guy is fucking keeping the sky too far away from us.
Maybe he'll shrug.
Maybe so. You guys won't believe this, but it could be that Ayn Rand was wrong about something.
What?
No, we're cutting that out.
Cut it out now.
That's not right.
So you could, originally it was just gods and threats to the gods of Olympus that were sent to Tartarus. But in later mythologies, Tartarus became the place where the punishment fits the crime. And you're going to recognize some of these stories, methinks. A mortal that was sentenced to Tartarus was King Sisyphus.
Oh, yeah.
He was sent for killing his guests and travelers to his castle in violation of the rules of hospitality. If we've learned anything from ancient texts, don't fuck with your guests.
Be hospitable. For the love of all that's good and holy, or you'll have to roll a boulder for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, weirdly did not make it to the 10 Commandments, even though the punishments for inhospitality in the ancient texts are severe.
Yeah.
They're very severe. So he also, in addition to being bad at hospitality, he saw himself as a bit of a peer to Zeus and reported on one of Zeus's many sexual conquests to the river god.
Oh, he was gossiping?
Yeah, he was a
Snitches
blabbermouth.
get boulders.
Oh, spoiler! Greek spoiler. So Sisyphus overstepped his bounds. Zeus was pissed. He was dragged to Tartarus by Hermes, where he was, for anyone who hasn't been to middle school yet, where he was forced to roll a large boulder up a mountainside, which, when he almost reached the crest, rolled away from him repeatedly. This represented the punishment of Sisyphus for claiming that his cleverness surpassed that of Zeus, causing God to make the boulder roll away from Sisyphus, binding him to an eternity of frustration.
Yeah.
And that was all taking place in Tartarus, along with another mortal, King Tantalus, who ended up in Tartarus after he cut up his son Pelops.
Oh, I didn't realize that was why he was there. He cut up his son?
He cut up his son Pelops. This is King Tantalus. Cut up his
go
son
to hell,
Pelops,
Tantalus.
boiled him, and served him as food when he was invited to dine with the gods. So rude, but also super generous.
Well,
I guess.
I in part if you use all of the sun, then it feels like at least you're not being wasteful.
Okay, I feel like there's a contradictory message here. Be hospitable. Okay, great. Here is my son.
Right,
Take and eat of him.
Yeah.
Nope, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked either way, right?
Well, just be hospitable, smarter. That's the takeaway.
Maybe he could have showed up with a bundt cake.
You think?
Rather than
You'd think.
Boiled boy. There's just a shit ton of men killing their sons in all these old stories. Isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I know some young people. So,
Yeah.
So rude, but also so generous. Tantalus' punishment for his actions. And by the way, tantalize is now the term for temptation without satisfaction.
Right.
Was to stand in a pool of water beneath a fruit tree with low branches, and whenever he reached for the fruit, the branches would raise up, and he couldn't grasp his meal. And whenever he bent down to get a drink, the water receded before he could get any.
This being the sort of basis for big brothers to torment their little brothers for the rest of eternity. Hey,
yeah.
Do you want this? Do you want this? Oh, you almost have it. Oh, no. You almost got it, but you didn't get it. Oh.
I wish there was a story about a guy who had a little thing on his shirt, and his brother kept pointing to it and was like, "Hey, look at this! Bam! Whack! Right in the nose.
Right in the nose.
Yeah, I relate. I had 3 older Tantaluses growing up.
Yeah. No, you were the Tantalus.
Was I the Tantalus? Oh, I guess I was the Tantalus.
They were the tantalizers.
They were the gods.
Yeah.
They were the titans that I overthrew.
I was the delicious fruit tree. The Danaids, of course, we all know, were 50 daughters of somebody who were supposed to marry 50 sons of somebody else. But for some reason, they killed all their husbands on their wedding nights.
Yeah, that's... The musical about it's really fun. 50 Brides for 50 Brothers. It's a
one-act play.
It is, but it is very difficult to choreograph for somebody with 100 hands. Let me be the first to say that. So they murdered their husbands, and their torture in Tartarus was to carry jugs of water to fill a bath, which would wash away their sins, and they'd be free to go. But the tub was full of cracks, and the water always leaked out.
Oh.
So this hell is kind of like a work stress dream, you know. You're just like you're trying to get the copier to work, but the screen is like suddenly only in Korean, and you have to drive to Norway to get toner, and the meeting's in 5 minutes, or you're naked in high school for all eternity. So that's when the mortals found their way to Tartarus, as well as the Titans and all the goblins and ghouls that live there. So Tartarus, you would think, would have died out with the old Greek way. But it didn't. It also kind of was adapted into the hell of the Romans, whose, seems like their major raison d'etre in the world was just stealing other people's shit, whether it was land or ideas, right? So
I don't know if you know this, but making stuff up can be hard.
Right.
And why not? Why reinvent the wheel? It's already there.
I've got a whole ideology right over there.
Yeah.
We'll just rename some shit.
If your whole like GDP is consumed by making swords and doing conquests, then have borrow somebody else's religion, because you don't have time for that shit.
No.
So anyway, Tartarus made it into the Roman world, and therefore it's largely seen as the template for Christian hell, and thus, in fact, it even makes it into the Bible.
Oh.
And yes, you guys will remember the Book of Enoch.
Oh yeah,
which is one of our favorites.
I reread it all the time.
Enoch 20 ... 1 referring to the name and functions of the 7 archangels. Chapter 20 is, and these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the world and over Tartarus.
Oh,
Boom.
interesting.
Interesting.
Right there in the Bible. So it's stuck, you know. It's kind of it's a sticky idea.
Yeah.
And so the eternal torment of being frustrated and never getting that boulder up the hill is hardly a new idea.
Yeah, I guess I there you go. Everybody and boy, once you come up with a good one like that, that's everybody's going to be stealing it.
So has the term Tartarus made it into the modern lexicon as
yeah, it's that sauce that you put on fish.
that's the punishment, the hell.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
having only tartar sauce for eternity.
I like tartar sauce. I could
Yeah,
probably
you will.
I'd have to.
You better.
So there you go. That's Tartarus, everybody. And we can come back from hell.
All right. Moving
All
on.
Well, Uncle Dan,
Yes, sir.
there's a lot of talk of rolling boulders out of the way of things these days.
You hear about it every day.
Yeah, and one of our favorite boulder rolling stories is the empty tomb.
Oh, so we're now talking about this. I don't know what we're talking about. Who are we? What could we possibly be talking about with that?
I think Uncle Doug is going to illuminate us, since it is now the Easter season. Like he did with the Christmas story and the Nativity, he's going to illuminate us as to the wonderful consistencies the Bible has about the resurrection. Am I right, Uncle Doug?
Correct.
Hooray!
Yes.
We all love Bible stories because they're true.
And internally consistent.
And internally consistent. I think that these are the goals of a good storyteller is truth and internal consistency. And you've got it all for us, Doug. Why don't you fill us in on Zombie Jesus?
Well, indeed. As your longtime listeners may know, we kind of did the same thing with the Christmas story.
Long time is a relative term, but sure, let's go. Let's
Seems
go with
like
that.
a long time to me. And in each of the books of the Bible that cover the life of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, I'll give a little palate cleanser about the history of those books. They're retellings of the life of Jesus from birth to death. They don't align in events or timelines. They were written by different people decades apart, and none of the people who wrote them knew Jesus or any of his apostles. So there you go.
Okay.
Eyewitness testimony is what
Right,
that's
exactly.
Yeah.
I think we likened it to relying on the testimony of people who saw a car accident and then told other people about it 20 to 60 years later to put together the actual events. So we have the action-packed final act of the life of Jesus is his entrance into Jerusalem, the Last Supper, crucifixion, and resurrection.
Sure.
So each of the 4 books of the Bible do cover those events to some degree. So what we'll do first, I think instead of trying to go through the books individually, we'll kind of cover the subjects themselves and what the different books have to say about those subjects.
Okay.
And the character of Jesus is a very different thing in the 4 books of the first 4 books of the New Testament. So
I just said, which book is the chocolate in? Which book are the chocolate bunnies?
Leviticus.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
And you can't eat them.
No, no, those are the chocolate weasels.
That's right.
By the way, somebody tweeted a history fact the other day that the CERN Large Hadron Collider was shut down a couple years ago because a weasel fell into it. And I thought, my God, it is happening.
Now we understand. They couldn't have known.
The ancient Hebrews are like, see?
They couldn't have known back then why it was so important. But now
accelerated a weasel to faster than light.
no, it's now we know that the weasels were put on the earth for God to prevent us discovering that he's not real.
Yeah, I think all of those things are
using
true.
physics.
Anyway, on to the chocolate.
Back to the chocolate. So in the 4 books of the New Testament that cover Jesus, his character is very different. Nowhere is that truer than in the last week of his life. He's being tested. He's under stress.
Yeah.
He's certainly in pain. So his character is really brought out. And in the first book of telling of the life of Jesus is the book of Mark. Jesus is this meek and mild servant of us all. I mean, this when he meets with Pilate, which we'll get to, he says nary a word. He goes to his fate like a lamb. In the book of Matthew, he's kind of this badass prick. He's argumentative. He's kind of funny. He's kind of a dick to the Romans and the Pharisees. In the book of Luke, he's a guru. Most definitely kind of this uber religious, peaceful guru. And lastly, in the book of John, he is
circus clown.
An Old
It's
Testament
a rodeo clown.
He's kind of a Moses type figure. He's a bit more warlike. He's a bit more aggressive and a bit more dangerous. So this will come out. So the first thing that kind of is hard to reconcile in these books is the timeline.
Okay.
Mark, Matthew, and Luke have Jesus crucified after Passover. In fact, the Last Supper is a Passover dinner.
Oh, right.
And
A Seder, if you will.
correct. John, however, has this all happening before Passover.
God damn it, John.
And it's a little hard to reconcile those particular things as they're all, around a particular Jewish holiday that is on the calendar. So the first...
Well, the trick is that John wasn't a Jew. He was a Christian by that point. So he didn't know how to, whoever wrote the Gospel of John was a Christian. He doesn't know the Jewish
There
things.
were only some Jews in the area they could have asked that about.
He could have just
Oh, well.
figured it out.
The first hilarious piece is the entrance into Jerusalem. So we're starting with the Catholic kind of week of the crucifixion.
Sure.
So, Palm Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus enters Jerusalem, and there is a scripture in the book of Zechariah, which we all love.
He's astride a trusty steed, if I'm not mistaken.
He is. The scripture predicts the coming of the Messiah and says, "Tell ye the daughter of Sion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a colt, the foal of an ass." So there is this prediction that
Wait, he's sitting on two critters?
he's sitting on two critters in the prophecy.
like he's got an Ottoman creature? He's got like
Here's the great part. The gospel writers decide they've got to tackle this. And we've got to figure out how to make this work.
Right.
So in Mark, which again is the first one written, he sends his disciples to find a colt that's never been ridden, and he jumps on that and he rides in Jerusalem. They throw down their clothes and the palms.
You're saying colt with an O.
Colt.
Like, why is he riding a cult? So,
That comes later.
Like baby donkey.
Yeah, colt.
okay.
So there's donkey and baby donkey.
So in Mark he rides a colt. He rides just the
colt.
Put him on a colt, no problem. It's in Matthew where it gets a little funny. He sends his disciples into Jerusalem to find a colt and an ass.
Okay.
And they do. They find a colt and an ass. Jesus hops on these two animals together and rides them into Jerusalem.
I am picturing him side saddle on the ass with feet up on the colt. That's how I want to.
Or even better, just standing with one foot on each one.
Well, that's kind of you can see that, but then he's got a size differential that he's got to contend with. He's got to be bending one of the legs pretty.
One of the disciples had to be a sandal maker that made him like a platform sandal, a corrective sandal, and then he hits his door on the way into Jerusalem.
Here's what I love about this is that he's like, there's this prophecy of the Messiah, right?
Yeah.
And he's fulfilling this prophecy, but apparently he, as the Messiah, is self-aware of the prophecy. He's like, oh shit, go get me these things. I forgot. Somebody run into town and grab me these things so I can fulfill this prophecy real quick.
And it's like he has an advance team, right? It's you got to go art direct this moment for me. So go get the shit I need. I'll wait out here,
right?
And then we'll pretend we're coming in for the first time.
And is that really fulfilling a prophecy if it says this here and I go do that thing?
Right. Somebody makes a prophecy about blank, and then I just like, hey, go arrange for all of the things for the prophecy to be real, and then I'll go in.
And it shall come to pass that he shall put on weight in his 40s.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Whoa!
Bing.
I did it.
That's just stagecraft, man. That's just stagecraft.
All right. So in Luke, they dispense with they just do the colt again. So he's a colt and an ass, and now he's a colt.
Okay.
And in John, they find him a young ass to ride into town.
Everybody loves a young ass.
Indeed.
To ride.
Hey, baby.
So we're in Jerusalem, and one of the first things that Jesus does in his week in Jerusalem is one of the weirdest parables and moments in the New Testament is the fig tree, the cursing of the fig tree.
Oh yeah.
He gets off the ass, the colt, and the young ass, and he's hungry. And in Mark, he walks up to a fig tree, and it doesn't have any figs on it, so he curses it.
He's like, fuck you, tree.
Yeah, and it dies the next day. Matthew takes the same story. He walks up, there's no figs on it, he curses it, and it dies immediately.
Oh my God.
Like wilts up and crumples. And there's some lesson in here. In Matthew, Jesus says, Jesus answered unto them and said, Verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say to this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. So there's a faith lesson here that I'm just not understanding. I never have understood this.
No,
this
it's
moment.
the worst story. Like, literally, he has a vendetta against a tree for not
fucking tree.
for not
It's
having
probably not in season.
Yeah, right. Literally, like, there are lots of trees that aren't bearing fruit right now. Do they deserve death? Is that the moral?
Death to all tree. And Luke and John don't touch it. It's not in their story. So
Okay.
Well, also, what's funny about it is it's like, yeah. See how I killed that little sapling over there? I can also move a mountain. You know, that I can move a mountain in Canada. I just did.
You just don't know it.
You don't know.
You want to fucking impress people? Move the mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So next thing he does as he enters Jerusalem is he cleanses the temple. Now, all three of the synoptic gospels, which are Matthew, Mark, and Luke, which really tell the same story with slight variation, have him entering Jerusalem, killing a tree, and then cleansing the temple, throwing out the money changers.
Right.
John, however, has him.
Yeah, he throws a fucking fit.
He throws a fit.
He kills a tree, and then he just fucking goes apey in the temple.
The Prince of Peace.
Right.
So he goes in the temple, and as we covered in the book of Leviticus, the transactional nature of sacrificing animals is complex.
Yeah.
And you would imagine you have people coming in from various countries throughout the Middle East with various currencies having to buy everything from turtle doves up to goats.
Right.
So that...
all 12 days of Christmas are for sale. To kill ye on the threshold of the tabernacle.
How many goats can I get for these lords a leaping?
Just one Lord a leaping.
I've got a leaping lord here.
Any change?
From colt to young ass.
So, it seems like an essential task, these money changers, but Jesus ain't having it. So Matthew, Mark, and Luke, he kicks him out of the temple. John, however, has him do this 3 years earlier when Jesus first arrives in Jerusalem. He does the same thing.
God damn it, John.
It's fucking John. All right. Some precious ointment is in order.
Okay.
In Mark, a woman pours out some precious ointment on Jesus.
Okay.
And the disciples get pissed off because what a waste.
Well,
They're like, you could have sold that ointment and given that money to the poor.
Oh.
And Jesus, and the same thing happens in Matthew, and Jesus says, I love this line, for ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. Which is, that is why.
So his excuse is like, look, even after I'm dead, she'll be able to give to the poor.
The world's always going to be shitty.
I'm only here right now.
Right.
You might as well put some oil on me, some ointment.
I deserve this Porsche and this mansion and this hair.
Oh my gosh, it is. It's
Totally.
the Creflo Dollar defense.
Right.
Did he want the ointment? I mean, did he have like poison ivy or something?
Like I would be, if I were just sort of walking through Jerusalem and somebody just started pouring crap on me, I would be kind of mad. But apparently he wanted
the horse
that.
stance, man.
Well, if it was nice ointment.
Yeah,
Maybe
apparently
he
that was some
had
sweet ointment. Yeah.
He had an ass allergy. Maybe he was all hived up.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
and John actually has Mary pour the ointment out on the. So the three Gospels don't mention the name. In John, it's Mary who pours the ointment, and it's Judas who gets pissed at her. I'm telling you, the writing in John got really good. Like they brought in a couple screenwriters to really punch that up.
Sure.
In John, it actually turns out to be Judas, and that brings us to the next subject: old Judas Iscariot.
Yes.
After Jesus enters Jerusalem, right away the priests are conspiring to kill him. It may have something to do with him kicking the shit out of the money changers or many other things, but right out of the gate, they're like, "Okay, we got to kill Jesus." So,
Well, I mean, it would be
killing a
enough.
tree.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like also anybody who comes in saying, "Hey, I'm the Messiah. Go get me some asses." Like, look, I'm performing Messiah here, is bound to piss some people off.
Right.
Look what happened to David Koresh.
good example.
Thank you.
Right.
Enter Judas. In the book of Mark, Judas Iscariot goes to the priest to seek to betray Jesus. They promise him some amount of money, but it's not specified, and no motives are ascribed to him.
Okay.
He just all of a sudden wants Jesus dead. When the 12 go to eat and Jesus prophesies that one of them will betray him, they all ask, "Is it I? Is it I?" But Jesus said, "It's the guy dipping his bread in the hummus with me right now." And that's Judas.
So wait, he announces who's going to be betraying him?
Yes. at dinner in front of everybody, and Judas doesn't leave.
And nobody
dinner.
goes, hey,
Wait a
somebody
minute.
tie that guy up.
Right.
That just seems this is just bad policy at this point.
Thematically, what's happening here obviously is like he waits outside of Jerusalem and says, "Go get the donkey." Because it's a prophecy,
right?
So the point is that, now correct me if I'm wrong, the thinking is that the story of Judas was Jesus made him do it, right? Isn't that the thinking?
Well, that something made him do it. I mean, Jesus had to die, right? It was prophesied that he would die.
The prophecy.
So Judas, but in all four of the Gospels, Judas is not treated well. He's not a beloved character or a nuanced character.
Right.
There are other non-canonical apocryphal Gospels that have some more motives ascribed to Jesus, but what the Catholic Church decided to keep in the Bible, Judas is no bueno.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
He's purely bad.
But I mean, just the thought of like, somebody's going to rob my house today, and it's him. And then everybody goes, oh, that's interesting.
Pass the gravy.
Right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So in Matthew, the 30 pieces of silver is brought up, and this time the way Jesus kind of outs him is all the apostles are saying, is it I? Is it I? And Judas says, is it I? And Jesus says, thou sayest. And he doesn't leave. And then later on, only in Matthew, Judas feels badly, tries to take the 30 pieces of silver back to the Jews who gave it to him. They won't take it, which, no joke here.
Yes, we're all avoiding that.
I love the incredibly long pause that followed that.
Three men all deciding in unison, nope, can't go there. Can't do it.
Yep. Awkward silence. On to the next joke.
We'll just call Eli and he'll make the joke.
Anyway, Judas goes and hangs himself, and that's the end of him in Matthew. In Luke, basically the same thing happens, except that Jesus has a different way of outing him. He says, "The hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table." And then Judas stays for the rest of dinner. I
like how your obsession, Doug, is that Judas won't leave.
Well, I just feel like
dinner.
Every dinner party I've ever been to, half of my brain is trying to find a way to get out. So if someone's like, "You're going to kill the host," I'm like, "I'm out. See y'all."
That is rude of you to say, and frankly, I'm leaving.
I'm going to go climb out the window in the bathroom.
It was a prefixed dinner. He's not leaving until the main course comes. Like, he's already fucking paid.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally in John, which is kind of the writing gets better and better, Jesus looks at Judas across the table and says, "That thou doest, do quickly." And this time Judas leaves and betrays him. We'll get to that. Just a little P.S. in the book of Acts 1:18, Judas not only hangs himself, but his bowels explode out his rectum. So,
wow!
Sayonara.
Boom, baby.
Well, that's why he needed the 30 pieces of silver. He had to go see a gastroenterologist. The poor guy had a blockage. The hummus and bread stopped him up.
It's actually a happy ending.
Why would they say his bowels exploded out of his head?
All right. So
that doesn't even happen in a Schwarzenegger film. You'd feel like
Judas. Jesus.
Yeah, he didn't get a good go. So the worst party of 13 ever, the Last Supper.
Yes.
All three synoptic gospels have Jesus sending his apostles to find this guy that they randomly do that happens to have an upstairs that just happens to be ready for them. That's their Last Supper. They do the sacrament. They pass the bread. They break the bread. They pass the wine. Now, this was a Passover Seder, and this is kind of the Christian superseding of that holiday.
right.
Co-opting of it. But because John put the date differently, they don't have a Passover dinner. There's no sacrament in John's gospel, but he does wash their feet.
Oh,
that's where the feet washing comes in.
Which really, in my household at least, growing up, you washed your hands when you ate dinner. That just seems weird.
I would think that washing somebody's feet in Jerusalem in 0 AD must have really been a thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Right. Exactly. That is humbling and debasing yourself in a way I think most nurses wouldn't understand these days, right? It's
exactly.
Feet are gross. I don't like feet. But back then feet were gross.
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage all of our listeners at some point in the near future, host a nice dinner, invite a bunch of people, and then at some point in the evening, just say, "All right, everybody, shoes and socks off." We're doing a thing.
We're doing a thing. And he's going to kill me.
that guy's going to kill me.
But don't worry about it. Let's finish our meal.
I've got this tub here, this basin, and some soap. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's finish our meal, and then we'll get to who's going to get who crucified.
There's a sorbet coming, but before that, I just want to wash some stuff.
Imagine like the guidebooks to those visiting the Middle East back in the day. Dinner etiquette. At some point, your host will accuse one of you of murder in the future and demand to wash your feet. Just go with it. Don't
Roll
make
with
it
it.
weird. Just roll with it.
Just sit there quietly.
You're all
Fingering
gonna
your
sit on the
silver.
same side of the table. Just deal, okay?
Do not expect toenails to be clipped, though.
Oh, Lord, can you
It's
imagine?
just the washing part.
Okay, so let's get on to the garden party. After dinner, the three synoptic gospels have Jesus heading to the Mount of Olives to the Garden of Gethsemane.
Yeah.
Get them
Of an enemy.
the Garden of Anemones. No wonder he bled from every pore.
Yeah. Those things are pokey.
Now, here's what's
Yeah.
interesting is it doesn't ever really go into why he suffers in the garden, but he suffers in the garden. And his suffering gets worse over the tellings.
It doesn't give a reason?
It doesn't. It just says he goes into the garden, he feels heavy, he's praying, and in three of the Gospels he says...
He had a large meal the night before.
That's right, he's trying
Probably
to...
had a lot of mutton.
What he's got to do is hang himself from that tree to get those bowels loose.
Oh, Jesus.
So in Mark, he takes Peter, James, and John with him to Gethsemane. Boy, I'm not going to be able to say that word this whole time. I'm going to stop trying. He says, Father, all things are possible. Take this cup from me. Nevertheless, what I will, but what thou wilt. And then Jesus comes back to find his boys sleeping. And he does this 3 times, wakes them up, bitches them out.
It's like every frat party I've ever been to.
Right.
I go out for a walk, and then I come back, and everybody's passed out.
Yeah, and he does this. He takes the same group up with him and does the same thing in Matthew and Mark, where he disappears, they fall asleep, he comes back, he's mad. There's no real point to this because all of a sudden Judas shows up and betrays him. And in the 3 Gospels, he does it with a kiss. They go to grab Jesus, and one of his apostles, it doesn't say who in the Synoptic Gospels, just one of his apostles grabs a knife and hacks off the ear of one of the Jewish guards.
Okay.
Clean off.
First of all, you've breezed past something that I want to get into, which is the kiss, which is like, when it was told to me when I was a kid, it was always like this thing where he was being sly. Like my understanding was always just like he's tipping him off in a way that nobody knows he's tipping him off. Like,
This is a normal thing you do.
just give him a kiss instead of, but like,
Mwah.
we already know he's going to betray him. He can point.
Right.
He could just go, that's the guy.
Right.
And then all of these bad guys can go and take him. But no, he's like, don't worry, I'll tip him off. I'll tip you guys off to which one it is by smooching.
I wonder who betrayed Jesus. Was it the guy Jesus pointed to and said he's going to betray me, and then showed up with the guards in the garden?
Right.
Who could it be?
Right, exactly. There's no slyness to be had.
Right.
Okay,
So-
go on. Sorry.
That's okay. So he kisses Jesus, and then one of Jesus' apostles leaps up, cuts off one of the Jews' ears.
Hey, at least they got
Yeah.
an ear out of the deal.
Now, what's weird is in Mark and Matthew, he cuts off the ear.
Yeah.
Right? In Luke, Jesus puts the ear back on
What?
and heals him.
I've never heard that before.
Now, he doesn't say whether he picks up the ear and sticks it on his head. He just reaches out and touches his head, and his ear is fine.
And like, wabadoo, he's good.
So you can tell the story is kind of evolving, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh, ha ha! It's like,
Right.
well, that's kind of a weird loose end. Let's just fix that.
Put that back on there.
But then what's so strange is in John, he gives them names. He gives the guy who cuts off his ear is now all of a sudden Simon Peter.
Okay.
And the guy who's gets his ear back is oh God, I'm not going to find it. Fuck it.
These are apostles. Like they were not named, and then they're named.
Yeah. So the story takes on this other element where he's like, okay, well, where it was just an unnamed apostle that cut his ear off. Now it's Simon Peter, and it's Malchus is the guard who gets his ear cut off. However, in John, he doesn't get his ear back. So that part of the story.
Well, that's interesting. So, and by the way, you've been saying that they're Jews, but aren't they Roman guards?
No, the Romans sees him first, and they take him to Pilate, and then it's the Romans who crucify him. So the people who come get him in the garden are Hebrew soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hebrew soldiers take him Okay.
Yep.
Dan, I think you're forgetting 2,000 years of Catholic anti-Semitism. Right?
Hey,
we need a little refresher.
Boy, there's more coming to that.
We only needed 50 years of anti-Semitism to get to this part, to get to the
That's right.
Jew
That's
hatred
right.
on this.
And now, just a quick side note on Simon Peter Cockmaster.
What?
All four versions have Jesus telling Peter that he will betray him 3 times that very night,
Thrice.
before the cock crows.
Right.
And in all 4 versions, Peter betrays him 3 times, and in all 4 versions, the cock crows.
Okay.
That, for whatever reason, that is like the most consistent,
Super important.
the least important narrative point of the story is the only consistent one throughout the entire thing.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to add a little appreciation to this because biblical stories are so fucked up and so weird. But at least this one is like, because Peter was like one of the good guys. He's not one of the bad guys in this story. So at least in this part, if people were interpreting this the way they ought to be, it's at least saying, you know what, human beings are fucked up.
Yeah, and Peter was scared. Jesus was in custody.
Right.
He was kind of hiding around in the shadows, and people were like, hey, aren't you with this guy? And he's like, nope.
I don't know.
It's a humanizing moment.
Yeah, it is.
And I think we can say that there is at least one technically accurate fact in the Bible that those 4 books agree upon. If you've ever been in any rural part of the world, is that chickens be screaming when the sun comes up. I know that for a fact.
We've done it. We've found the true part of the Bible.
Well, the other
one
thing is,
bit.
in a city like Jerusalem back then, how many seconds went by between cocks crowing? Like, it just must have been a constant cacophony.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll betray me 3 times before. Oh, it just crowed. Damn it.
Hurry.
Well, before
two more
the
times,
next
quick.
one. Like, at some point, you'll betray me thrice, and then a cock will crow at that point also.
See, if the cock didn't crow, that would be much more. In the 5th gospel, that's going to be the... All right, so let's get to the trial of the high priest. Jesus is taken by the Jews before the high priests, who are trying to get him to admit to some form of blasphemy so they can justify killing him.
Right.
So in Matthew and Luke, or sorry, Matthew and Mark, they try to get these witnesses to testify against him and bear false witness, but they can't get their stories straight. So they abandon that strategy and just ask him, "Are you the Son of God?" And he says yes. And like, "Ha ha, blasphemy!" So Luke kind of gets it.
Different people not getting their stories straight. There's I'm getting a theme. Go on.
This is their book, yeah. So Luke finally gets that and just dispenses with that whole part and just says, "Are you God?" And he says yes. And like, haha, and they rent their garments and condemn him. There's a lot of renting going on.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens in John. The only thing that's consistent about that part of the story is they slap the shit out of Jesus. Every one of them are just slapping Jesus, slapping Jesus, slapping Jesus.
This is the book of Mel Gibson we've got into here.
It's the book of Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Yeah.
Just slapping.
So they get the blasphemy charge they want, so they take him before Pilate. And the Pilate story is pretty fantastic. Pilate's actually one of the most nuanced, interesting characters in the entire New Testament. He has some nuance to him. He's kind of interesting. He's kind of consistent.
It's why they named the first episode of every show after him.
That's right.
Yes, and that's the guy who flies the plane.
Yeah.
So boom. Jesus is taken before Pilate in Mark.
Word facts.
And remember, this is the meek and mild Jesus, right? So he doesn't say a word. Jesus sits in front of Pilate. They can't get anything out of him. And there's this custom in the Bible that doesn't exist where the Romans would release a prisoner to the Jewish crowd on Passover.
Oh.
Right. And this is a complete myth.
Right.
The Romans were an occupying army. They wouldn't do things like that. Right? Like, oh, we'll release a prisoner to you that may have committed some crime against our occupation.
But it sounds like a fun thing to try.
It's a great MacGuffin.
It sounds like a delightful little game to play with your captive people.
Well, and they all 4 writers get some use out of this MacGuffin. So in Mark, it's very straightforward. They give Barabbas, who is accused of insurrection and murder.
Yeah.
And so they release an insurrectionist murderer.
Yeah.
An insurrector.
And then Pilate gives them Barabbas, and they crucify Jesus, and we'll get to that part in a minute. Now, in Matthew, it's pretty much the same thing, except that Jesus talks back to Pilate quite a bit.
What you gonna do, bitch?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you're gonna hang me on a piece of wood? Ooh, I'm so scared.
And that's where Pilate's like, I want nothing to do with this. If you want to crucify him, he gets a basin of water and washes his hands. And every version of his story starts to really, really get on the Jews more and more and more. Like at first it was kind of preordained, and now it's like filthy Jews, and it just gets worse and worse. Right. In Luke, they scream for his death, and they say, "Let the blood of Jesus be upon us and our children." Yeah.
And so basically they're saying, hey, all future anti-Semitism
is justified.
Heretofore. We are taking that on ourselves.
Yeah.
These Jews are ghouls. They're not satisfied in being spattered in the high-pressure excreta of Judas, who hung himself. They also want the blood of Jesus to rain down upon them.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
monsters.
And as the Jews in the crowd get worse, Pilate actually gets better. So in Luke, he desperately doesn't want to crucify Jesus. He sends Jesus to Herod, who's the local Jewish magistrate.
Right.
And Herod's at first excited to meet Jesus because he's heard about him, but Jesus won't respond to him. So he sends him back to Pilate. And there's this weird side note where this back and forth between Pilate and Herod makes them close. They become friends. They've been like kind of pissed at each other for a while, but this whole thing is like, well, you're not so bad.
They've been playing Jesus Pong long enough that they've decided to be buddies.
We don't want to crucify this particular Jew. You're not so bad.
Aw.
So whatever. So Jesus goes back to Pilate, and the crowd screams for Barabbas, and they send him off. And finally, in the book of John, Pilate really, really, really does not want to sacrifice Jesus. So he tries and tries and tries and tries. The crowd pushes back, and then the crowd threatens Pilate. The crowd's like, you know what?
You know what happens in an occupied territory where a bunch of rabble threaten the Roman magistrate?
Exactly.
He does what they want.
They're like,
Obviously, he gives them what they want.
we're going to complain to Caesar about you. And he's like, well, fuck it. All right. We'll crucify him.
Fine.
So
Bullshit.
I really didn't want to crucify this guy. Damn it.
you clearly see the blame for this act shift away from the Romans and onto the Jews during the course of these 4 stories. Like, very, very clearly.
Kind of a little bit inexplicably, right? Like there's just this bizarre hatred for him by the was it the Tesseract? Wasn't that what they were called? No, I'm serious.
Yeah, the Jewish High Council.
Yeah.
But you know, as by the time John wrote his version of the book of the life of Jesus, the Christians were in pretty much open warfare with the Jews. So it makes sense that this is entirely their fault and they should have it coming. And then we get to Mel Gibson's favorite part of the Bible, where they put a crown of thorns on his head, they whip him and mock him.
The torture porn part.
The torture porn part. The crown of thorns only shows up in the Synoptic Gospels. John has nothing to do with that.
Because it's icky, and John has a thing about blood.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Doesn't seem like it.
Are you guys super excited for the sequel to the Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, what's it called?
I don't know, the Repassion.
Electric Boogaloo.
It's called Passion of the Christ 2, Judas's Bowels.
That would be amazing. There's just 30 slow motion minutes of an exploding ass. A girl can dream.
Now I'm going. Now I'm interested.
All right. So there's the Simon the Cyrenian. Sucks to be him. In all 3 Synoptic Gospels, the Romans grab him out of the crowd to carry the cross. And that's kind of his entry and exit of the Bible. And he's not in John.
Hey, at least he made it in.
Yeah. And
he's an extra, but
he did a nice he had a speaking part.
He's a featured extra.
Right.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, he's a featured extra because he carried a cross.
Right.
If he was just standing in the crowd, he wouldn't be credited.
And he got a name.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
he got Taft-Hartley. Fun movie joke for anybody out there.
Yeah.
Finally, we come to history's least consequential death scene. In Mark, they bring him to Golgotha, the place of the skull. They try to give him some wine with myrrh, but he won't drink it. He's crucified between 2 thieves. They cast lots for his garments. There's a sign that says the King of the Jews over his head. He finally says, Eli...
Wait, they put up a sign that says King of the Jews?
In all 4 Gospels, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's a sign that says the King of the Jews. It's the one you see
Herod
in the
must
movies.
have been pissed.
Well, that's very funny you should say that. In Mark, it's super tertiary. They just mention it. And then he dies between the 6th and 9th hour of his crucifixion. He cries, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. Nailed it. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? And that's all he says from the cross. He screams and dies. That's
Okay.
that. And the veil of the temple is rent.
Sure.
So the Mark's death scene is very abbreviated and very sad.
Right. Yeah. It's just, Dad, why'd you leave me like this?
Yeah, he dies alone and terrified on the cross. Right. And then screams and dies.
What a pussy. You're getting crucified. You should nut up, man.
The snowflake Messiah.
Yeah.
Oh, boo-hoo, getting crucified, whatever.
Somebody write this better.
All right, here we go. Matthew, they tried to give him vinegar and gall, but he wouldn't drink it. I don't know what gall is, but whatever.
Better than wine and myrrh.
It's something that
So
came
you
out
say.
of Judas.
He's crucified between two thieves. They put the king of the Jews over his head. Same deal. About 6 hours later, he dies. He does say, "My God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Screams and dies. The veil of the temple is rent. And this happens. Many graves open up, and the bodies of many saints that slept arose and walk around the city and are seen by many.
Yeah.
Shit. So the zombie apocalypse starts.
And that's just that's like a single sentence in the story. Like, oh, yeah.
Just as a PS.
Just that.
Also,
Yes.
Walking Dead.
Exactly.
The dead have risen, and they just kind of stroll about Jerusalem.
They go for a
while.
bit of a mosey.
And there's no reference to it
Yeah.
ever again. So, all right, we get to Luke's crucifixion.
Although that is better. Like a little zombie mosey.
Let's try this out.
That's spicy. That's fun.
Yeah.
Let's punch this up.
Exactly.
This time in Luke, he's crucified on Calvary.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's different.
Well, it's Golgotha in every
Golgotha,
other one,
yeah.
and it's called Calvary in this one.
Oh, wow.
Calvary.
Yeah.
Cavalry. It's called.
Yeah, which is a word that people always fucking say when they think that people on horseback are coming.
Calvary.
The cavalry's coming.
I always just thought.
I hate that.
I always thought Jesus died in Calgary, but that's just me. Go on.
He
So-
died in a cavalry charge.
Here we see this narrative getting a little bit more focused. He's crucified between two malefactors, and he proclaims, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Although it's not clear if he's talking about the Romans who were hammering his hands in, or the two thieves around him.
Oh,
His garment is rent, and lots are cast, and he's mocked. The sign above him is now in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew,
all of them. Mm-hmm. Not Aramaic.
not Aramaic.
Rude. I should have done one in English. That would have made it easier for us to understand.
This time,
Jesus was an American. He spoke English.
This time he actually talks to the thieves, and one of them says, "Can't you get us out of this jam?" The other one says, "Leave him alone, we're all fucked."
And the third one sings, "Always look on the bright side of life."
Exactly. One of them asks him if to remember him when he comes into his kingdom, and he says, "Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt be with me in paradise this day."
Wow.
Okay, yeah. And then he dies, and in the night he claims, "Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit." So no more of this, "Father, I've been forsaken."
He's a chatty Cathy in this one.
It's much more sanguine and kind of guru-ish.
I really do like the idea of like, because, when you've got 6 hours of dying to do up on a cross, you're going to want to have at least a conversation.
What's up? You know what, though? And we'll get to this because it actually plays into the narrative in John, but crucifixion was a particularly nasty, perhaps the nastiest way to kill a man that has ever been invented.
Oh, I can think of worse.
Usually it would take days.
Yeah.
And you would
It was
actually
top 10.
Yeah, it's in the top 10.
Yeah, sure.
It's up there. You would actually drown in your lungs is the cause of death.
Yeah.
From your arms being pulled apart for so long. And then you would stand on that little, either on the nail they put in, or they would give you a little footstool.
Right.
So you'd stand up
Then
and
they
sit
broke
down.
they broke your legs, so you couldn't stand.
Exactly. And that's where John comes in. So
Oh.
in the Gospel of John, he's crucified on Golgotha again between two thieves. This time the sign over his head was made by Pilate himself.
Oh.
What?
So Pilate painted the King of the Jews sign. So there, you can tell.
he's
the
basically
writing's
just-
just getting good.
He's just tagging him.
Right? And the Jews go back to Pilate, who was a pussy a minute ago, and say, "We want the sign down." And he got his backbone finally.
Oh.
Like the parking lot scene in Back to the Future, and says, "No." The soldiers cast lots again. Jesus sees his mother and pledges them to each other, like the runway scene in Always. Jesus says, "I thirst." He's given a sponge of vinegar, and this time he drinks it.
Oh.
He says, "It is finished," and he dies. Now, in John's version, it's about to be Passover, so they've got to get the bodies down before Passover for, just because.
Because it truly,
Rules.
it's pretty gauche to hang bodies around during a holiday.
Yeah. So
That's not good. That's not good decorating.
so
Well,
they-
it's the wrong decoration. It's the wrong season.
it's like right after Labor Day.
That's for Purim. You put those up for Purim.
Got to get your dead Jews down before Passover.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. So they send a couple soldiers to break his legs so he'll die faster, and he's dead already.
Oh.
And that's when one of the Roman soldiers pierces his side with a spear to be sure, and a bunch of water and blood squirt out.
And a little bit of vinegar.
So just on a quick side note, this is actually my favorite part of the story. It's when the soldier, for some reason, one of the Roman guards is standing there and he hears Jesus scream and die. And in Mark, he says, truly this was the son of, this man was the son of God. And I can never say that line without hearing Charlton Heston say it. And was it the robe? Truly this man was the son of God.
Was the son of God.
And then he took his gun from his cold dead hand. The end.
Okay, we're on the home stretch.
Okay, we're
back,
almost there.
We're back from the dead.
There's one more very important point to this story.
Exactly. So in all four Gospels, again, one of the things that doesn't matter that all of them agree on, Joseph of Arimathea goes to Pilate and begs for the body. So all four Gospels have him, his first and his last name, and the fact that he begs Pilate, gets Jesus' body, and puts it into the tomb. Now, everything from that point on starts to get muddy. So 3 days pass, Mary and Mary show up on a Sunday morning. They find the sepulcher open and a young man sitting there, and he told them that Jesus is risen.
Mary, his mom, and Mary
Magdalene, who especially in the book of John, really seems to have a romantic relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. Which is why everybody tries to discredit her by calling her a whore, which is funny because in none of the Gospels is she a whore.
Right.
Oh, really? She's never. I thought it was just known that she was a prostitute, but that's not
just literally
specified as
slander that was written by later theologians to try and put people off the scent that Jesus might have had some.
It's
some
not
poon.
slut shaming unless it's in Greek, Hebrew, and
Aramaic.
Wow.
Right on. So Jesus appears to Mary. They go tell the disciples. They believe her. He shows up and preaches to them and tells them to go preach the gospel and baptize. That's it. We're done with Mark.
Okay.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Not Uncle Mark. Mark the book.
In Matthew,
Okay, I'm back.
In Matthew, Mary and Mary show up on a Sunday to wash the body. There's an earthquake. An angel descends, rolls the stone away, and sits on it. Plunk. The angel tells them to go and inform the disciples that Jesus is risen. There were guards that were set there in the book of Matthew. The Jews said, all right, we don't want the Jews showing up and stealing Jesus and saying he's risen, so we'll put guards there.
Right.
The guards, I guess they run away when this angel shows up.
When you see an angel moving a boulder and then just chilling, that's pretty scary.
Look, guys,
I suppose
we live in mountain country. Anytime a boulder gets to a moving, I leave.
Yeah, it's not a good time to stay.
No, move. I get it.
So
another true part of the Bible: chickens screaming and running from boulders.
So he appears to his apostles and tells them to go preach. And the end. And now we get to Luke. Everything's the same up until the point where the day after he's dead, or he's risen, excuse me, two apostles are walking along a road, and an incognito Jesus appears to them. They spend the whole day together. The apostles do actually a pretty good job of doing the show so far bit for Monty Python, where they just tell the entire story of the book up until that moment.
Right.
And then Jesus is Jesus. It's me. And they're like, holy shit. And he disappears.
Oh, wait, is that where Doubting Thomas is, though?
No, that's in John. That's coming up.
Oh,
and then the two apostles run back to the rest of the apostles and say, Jesus came to us. And they're like, bullshit. And poof, Jesus in the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this is straight up David Blaine shit.
This is illusions, Michael. So that's basically the end of that.
This is beautiful. I like to imagine Jesus just fully as Joe Bluth from Arrested Development, just kind of hapless and kind of a magician. I love it.
That would account for why the stories are all different, because he keeps trying to perform tricks and they keep only half working. The plume of smoke does appear, but then he's
still there.
Goes to throw out a pigeon and it's dead.
A turtle dove. Can you play the final countdown on a shofar?
Okay. Can you? Can you not?
All right. So we're at the final part of the final book of the final story.
Okay.
And
the cross. He's on the cross. He's nailed up there, and he looks around and just says, "I've made a huge mistake." Oh, I wish. In my version. My version of the Bible.
My Lord, my Lord, why have I forgotten my props? Anyway,
My cards.
So finally, Joseph gets the body of Jesus, and instead of just laying him to rest, because the timeline's all screwed up now, they actually go to anoint him before they put him to rest, and they use roughly 100 pounds of aloe and myrrh.
Jesus.
whoa,
Yeah.
that's
They just squirted him into the tomb.
to anoint a dead body.
Yeah.
They sous vide him.
So Mary shows up after 3 days to find an empty tomb. She tells Peter and John. They take off. Mary goes to see the other apostles and tells them, but being a woman and being that this is the Bible, they don't believe her.
They're like, nah.
And Jesus appears to the 11 who are left, except Thomas isn't there. And when Thomas shows up, he says, bullshit. He says, unless I can put my hand in his side, I'm not going to believe you. And a few days later, Jesus shows up and says, go for it. So that's doubting Thomas.
So wait, so what you're saying is that what you're saying is that it took a few days for them for whoever was pulling this prank to make the Jesus double to convince him to actually
come up with the trick,
put a hole in his side for Thomas.
You got to commit to the bit. And then Jesus shows up when they're fishing, and there's this weird moment where he tells them to cast their nets off the other side of the boat, and they get all these fish.
He's just haunting them.
I know, it's really weird. It's really weird. And then so they have dinner. They all sit down. It's Jesus, John, and Peter having dinner with all these fish. And Jesus prophesies Peter's death and tells John that he will never die until Jesus returns.
Wait, didn't he just return?
Returns in glory, returns to conquer the Romans and the Jews.
Which, if I'm recalling correctly, the Bible says he says I will return within this generation.
Oh, totally. Everybody thought he was going to be back in 10 years. That was the whole point of the story.
He said, I'm going to return within this generation. And then 2,000 years later, we're like, clock's still ticking on that.
And the Mormons are convinced that John's walking around still.
Oh, that's right.
Because you have to make that prophecy true.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why.
Years later,
Yeah.
And about 80% of the United States Congress and Senate are still waiting for him to come back. I just think it's important to make that point before we all go cry ourselves to sleep.
Yeah.
So that is the end of the story.
Easter!
If only that were the end of the story. It continues as we speak. But yeah, that's I mean, I love that there were other zombies. A lot of people talk about zombie Jesus and how funny it is that that's what happens when somebody comes back to life is that they're zombies, but I didn't realize that there were other zombies.
Yeah.
It's a whole zombie apocalypse, you guys.
And you can have parables, and those can vary because it's stories that Jesus told. Maybe he told them many times.
Sure.
So you can kind of apologetic your way out of that. Say, oh, well, it's different versions of the same thing. But the facts of the story of the date and what he said on the cross don't line up at all.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I think the important takeaway is obviously this is why your mom hides eggs in your yard.
Now it makes sense.
There is a beautiful meme that was going around where Jesus is on the cross and they're like, any last words? And he says, hide all the eggs.
There you go. Well, that's the stories of Easter, and all that makes sense. So thanks, Uncle Doug.
Moving on.
My pleasure.
Let's move on. Uncle Dan.
Yes, sir.
Well, week after week, people still listen to this little corner of the internet. I don't know why.
Nobody knows.
Some of them, for some reasons, want to throw a few ducats at us, and to them, we are extremely grateful.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, but it's a wonderful thing. Now, these people are our new patrons. Patrons get access to this show before everybody else.
They're Monday people. They're Monday people. They're not Wednesday people. We love the Wednesday people, but the Monday people, they say people say they don't have a favorite child, and then they say, okay, if the house is on fire, which one do you grab?
Right.
I don't know. We're the Monday people.
We're grabbing the Monday people, and I think you Wednesday people are starting to feel the FOMO.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've got a few people to thank. We've got Dean, Jamie, and Becky, who are our new patrons. Thank you so much for diving in and helping to make this ship sail. And that,
yes, and for better or worse, we don't have any huge ticket donors this week, so we'll spare you one of our excruciating heavens.
Yes, indeed, it's true. And we'll just move on Thanks you guys so
exactly.
much. What we'll do is we'll tell you how to do it. If you're feeling that FOMO that we were talking about, what you can do is you can go to howtoheretic.com and click on the Patreon thing. That'll give you a link. It'll jump you over to Patreon right where you need to be. And then you sign up and you just you do it at whatever level you're comfortable at. If $1 an episode, if that's what you can afford, we're super grateful. And if you can,
or 100,
if you can afford 100 an episode, then you goddamn better pony up.
Yeah, right. Find mommy's checkbook and get on it.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
So thanks again, guys, and moving on.
Well, Uncle Dan.
Uh-huh.
From time to time, we like to look at, all the different things people believed or believe, and what kind of wonderful panoply the spectrum of human bullshit can provide for our entertainment and our edification. And I believe in a fairly newly minted and not uncontentious segment that you minted, the Garden of the Gods. You have a new friend that we hope is ill and will soon be dying.
Well, here's the thing.
It's me.
It's Doug. Welcome, Doug.
Doug is the god we're burying today.
Here's the thing about the gods. We invented Garden of the or Graveyard of the Gods because we were going to talk about all of these old gods that people used to believe in that we can make fun of because they're ridiculous things to believe.
Like Optimus Prime.
Yes, indeed. That doesn't mean that gods that people still believe in aren't also ridiculous to believe. So I'm going to pluck someone from the garden of the currently believed in gods again.
All right.
Because I think that we can mine just as much ridiculousness out of that, if
All right,
not
if you're
more.
going to draw a picture of Muhammad, it's on you.
It is on me. But he's a handsome devil, I'll tell you that much. So today...
I am in no way affiliated with this comment.
You
That sound
are.
you hear is Doug slowly sliding out of the studio. Bye now.
There are a people indigenous to Canada called the Innu. Not the Inuit, but the Innu.
Yes.
Northern Quebec and parts of Labrador are where they live. And they have all sorts of religious traditions, of course, as is often the case with humans. They develop their own beliefs and whatever. A number of spirits live in their pantheon of gods, and I found one that I'm particularly enamored of, and this guy is named Matshishkapu.
Oh, sure.
Matshishkapu.
He's one of the top gods from there.
He is, he's also known as Matshishkapu Uchimau, which means the boss, or Chichu Uchimau, which means the real boss, or even Mishta Uchimau, which means the big boss.
Okay,
this dude
Uchimau
is not fucking around. Matshishkapu is he's very important to the Innu people, in part because he can control other gods. So there are so many of their gods are animal controllers. They're the masters of an animal, and like one of their biggest gods is the master of caribou. And we're going to get to a story where Matshishkapu has an interaction with the master.
His name is Matt Shishkapu?
Yeah. All right. I think Matt is his first name. I mean, it's when I've seen it spelled, it's usually just one word, but I think Matt's his first name, and Shishkapu is just fun to say.
Poor kid in high school, imagine.
Yeah, right. It's a good thing he's got the powers that he's got, and you'll learn why in just a minute.
All right.
Now he can sing, he can speak, he can mimic the sounds of the world, and he can predict the future. So this is all good stuff, but he does it all through a very specific means. He communicates this all through a very specific way of communication to the Innu people. I hope I've built this up enough because I can't tell you how much I love the fact that Matshishkapu translates to the fart man.
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding you.
This is too good to be true.
This is the anus spirit. He's the big dog, the most important guy to the Innu, and he talks to you through your bum.
No kidding.
Through, not out of his bum, but through your bum.
Through your bum. Every time you fart, you're being spoken to.
It seems that he's telling me the same thing over and over.
Oh, he's not.
You shouldn't have eaten that.
In point of fact, he is not. He is whispering sweet nothings and sweet somethings all at once. Now,
He's been yelling at me constantly for years now.
And here's some of the things that he's saying, by the way. Just a list of possible interpretations of the speechings of Matt Shishkapu are things like, one time he said goose. It's cold. He can say things like one time a priest walked into a room and someone farted and the interpretation was that it was a priest. Oh, look, priest is here.
Can he say polysyllabic things?
He can. He can say whole sentences. He can say 1, 2, 3, but can count no higher than 5, apparently.
Hang on a second. Let's try.
Right. It does feel like an invitation to some bad times. He can say good or no. He can say, I'm going to trap you.
Huh.
He can say, where is your hunting bag?
Sure.
The world is soon going to end, my son, is apparently one time.
That's what he constantly says to me.
One time he said...
That is a disconcerting fart.
Yeah.
If you're laying in bed and your ass says the world is going to end soon, my son.
It could be scary.
Someone else is there to have heard that. Like, did you hear that?
Somebody's fart once apparently told them that said, quote, I'm going to St. John's to interview Anglophone people. So,
of course,
put that in your butt and fart it.
Did you making that up?
I'm not making any of this up. This is all from a scholarly work that I was able to download, and it's quite amazing. A sudden fart interrupting the tranquility of camp life. According to this article, calls for immediate translation. So, and by the way, apparently farting while you're just chilling in camp doesn't always mean something, but farting if you're in the middle of hunting and gathering always means something, and you got to know it. But every now and then, a sudden fart will happen.
My farts are always sudden and disruptive.
Well, then,
what's he telling me?
Then you need an interpreter, and these interpreters are usually elders they're usually over 50. Can be both men and women, but every now and then, if there's nobody old around to help you interpret your fart, younger people can do it. Although, generally speaking, I'm guessing those are less mature interpretations.
I think this God speaks to a people who live in very close quarters.
Well,
do you think?
Yeah, indeed. They are tent dwellers, so you'd think. Yeah. So maybe that. I will say this: they do you think. They're taking this too seriously, but actually they have a huge sense of humor about it. And one of the things that they love about Shishkapu is that he makes them laugh. So what's nice about this is that none of this we think of this as being just goofy and funny. And I assumed when I first started reading this that these guys were taking this very seriously. It turns out they find it as funny as I do. Matt Shishkapu is a great source of humor to all of them, and so it's not just they're not just seeing this as like, oh, the wisdom of my farts. When somebody farts in the middle, they talk about how Matt Shishkapu can sort of can help with if people are arguing in a tent or whatever, Matt Shishkapu might have something to say that breaks all the tension, right? Because somebody has let one go.
Look, if you're holed up for months at a time eating nothing but seal meat, you better find a way to laugh at your farts.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Imagine.
Yeah. So he's the great mediator. He's a form of divination and a method of ascertaining the state of affairs in the realm of the animal masters. Now, here's what's interesting. There is a story. I mentioned this before. There's a story of the master of caribou who is their big dude. Like this guy.
By the way, that is the best Metallica album ever, in my opinion. And I know it's controversial.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the older stuff. Master of Caribou. I said it.
They go acoustic for part of it. That's great. The Master of Caribou, one day he was stingy and didn't give his caribou, didn't give enough caribou to the Innu people, and they were starving, and so they apparently have a way of communicating back to Machishkapu, which was the shaking of a tent. Maybe it's mimicking his own sounds. I don't know. But they shook their tent and asked Machishkapu to assist them. So he did. He went to the Caribou Master and was like, yo, give these dudes some caribou. They're starving. And Caribou Master was like, fuck that shit. I'm mad at him or whatever. So Machishkapu basically closed up that dude's ass. made him so constipated. Like he made him constipated so that he couldn't fart or poop.
Oh, Lord.
And at all. And that was enough.
I'd be dead in 15 minutes.
That was enough to torture him quickly into giving some caribou to the Innu people. At which point, Fart Man Machishkapu, true to his word, let him poop, and all was well.
Boy, was it a poop!
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you how powerful, someone's pooping ability is. If you want to control somebody, control their pooping.
Yeah, it's
true
all
words.
fun and games with Machishkapu until you fuck with him, and then boy howdy,
Yeah, you really don't want to mess with him.
you are in trouble.
I should mention, by the way, that I mentioned that he can mimic other sounds. Frequently, apparently, his message to them is, "Oh, there's a plane coming" or something, and that's because it sounds like a plane. He's literally, there are moments where he mimics the sounds around you. So sometimes he sounds like a motorboat. Sometimes he sounds, and I think we can all attest to that as being true.
That is like a ringing phone.
Right. Sometimes he sings to you.
I like how you said, though, the skill set was that he could mimic sounds, he could speak, he could sing, and he could tell the future.
Yeah.
That's an unbalanced paragraph right there.
Well, and the telling the future is things like there's a plane that's going to come, and it's unreliable. He's not 100% reliable.
The powers of Radar O'Reilly.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not very good at this, but man, does he stink.
Yeah.
Wow, the Machishkapu is pretty cool, man. I'm convinced. I think that he's a good contribution to the Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, I think so. I think, so many of these gods are so bloody and so like such dicks and whatever. This guy's just making us all laugh through farting. And I feel like I might start worshiping him a little bit.
I'm going to worship him in about 10 seconds.
I feel like my wife actually worships him a lot. So that's
I might not believe in him, but he believes in me. Yeah, that's. Do you have like any indication of how strongly people still believe in him, or is he just is he relegated to folk status, or is he still?
He seems to be. It's interesting because according to this paper, these are not widely studied peoples, but apparently, like if you just hang out with the Innu people, you may not ever hear about Machishkapu, but. Apparently, if you probe, if they trust you or whatever,
just steady with the probing.
Yeah. I caught myself. I switched gears on that one. They do still believe in him, and they among themselves they talk about him all the time.
Oh, how about that?
So there you go. And if someone farts around them, they will interpret it.
Do they kill you if you fart around them? Is it one of those things?
No.
Okay.
But he might be telling you something. It's important to know.
See, I think this could fall into the category of when Doug was talking about the Anasazi god Tawa, and our only source for Tawa is the Hopis, and it's entirely possible
just fucking
the Hopis are just fucking with us.
Hey,
this
you know
could
what?
Be the same.
Either way, I like this guy, and I'm going to keep him. He's worth my time.
I'm going to start recording my farts until I find a translator.
I think so.
Yeah, and he's just as real as anything else, so why not? Even if they're fucking with us. So
Well, and I also like the fact that there are reports about there was one guy who was talking about how his parents were both really good interpreters, and then they told stories about them, and basically the stories were my parents were sitting around farting, laughing, and telling each other what their farts meant, which
it's pretty
It sounds
funny.
awesome,
to
actually.
me, if my wife and I have had Greek food that day, we can play this game. This is a good
You
game,
can quote Proust to each other.
right?
Yeah, I could, if I had some Vindaloo the next day, he could recite the Epic of Gilgamesh through my ass. So
Right.
just be warned that he can get really chatty.
He can. By the
right.
way, Matt Shishkapu, according to he lives with people who live in places like, and this is a real, true, honest to God place. Shut shit. Shut shit. I don't know how to say it.
By the
It's
seashore?
beautiful
Yes,
this time of year.
she shat shit is what it is. It's spelled she shat shit, all one word. So enjoy all of that.
These people are having us on. These people are truly fucking
I
delicious.
just hope that Matt Shishkapu appears to all of you, dear listeners, in the upcoming days.
In the elevator.
That's what you do. If someone farts in the elevator, you don't make a sour face. You tell them what it's saying. You interpret it. All right, shall we move on?
Let's move on.
We'll put that one back in the garden and move along.
Well, friends, that's it for this week's show.
Yeah, and what a humdinger it was. We'd love to hear from you. You can, if you can't communicate to us through our own bottoms, you can send us an email at howtoheretic.com.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff exploding out of asses. So if you want to say anything to us about that, you can leave us a voicemail at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986. You can also yell at me on Twitter if you want, at HowToHeretic.
Yeah, or go to the Facebook page. You'll find that. Just search it out. I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much again to our patrons for all of their support.
Yes, and thanks to Cody Layton for editing the show.
And thank you, dear friends, for tuning in. We sure do appreciate it.
We do indeed. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.